John Lennon, peace activist and hypocrite, the two faces of a pop icon. John Lennon, the peace activist who supported murderers. In this world, there are good people and bad people. There are those who will go out and sacrifice themselves for a cause. People like Gandhi, who almost starved himself to death in protest at the sectarian violence that swept India at the time of independence. Then there are those like Winnie Mandela, who gained for themselves false reputations as freedom fighters while presiding over the murder and torture of the political opponents. But perhaps the worst type of hypocrite would be someone who made a fortune from the global masses by writing and singing about their love for world peace, and then used the fame and the money derived from the aforementioned global masses to give aid and support to an organisation which practiced murder on a massive scale. The hypocrite I'm singling out for condemnation here is that icon of the 20th century, John Lennon, and lest any of you doubt the veracity of what I have to say, you have only to remember the picture which I showed you at the start of this broadcast. The placard that Mr. Lennon is carrying offers support to the Provisional IRA. This is an organisation that was dedicated to murder on a massive scale, although this does not seem to have bothered peace activist and hypocrite John Lennon. John Lennon's friends did this in Ireland and Britain: killed 1,775 people from 1970 to 2005, maimed several thousand more in shootings and explosions, and devastated scores of towns and cities in Northern Ireland and England with vehicle bombs and firebombs. 620 of those murdered by the friends of this great peace campaigner, John Lennon, were civilians, that is, men, women and children. When you sit listening to Imagine or Give Peace a Chance, think of that picture and remember all the victims. John Lennon supported murders in Vietnam as well. Another cause Mr. Lennon adopted as his own was that of the Vietnamese communists during the Civil War. In 1969, along with his wife Yoko Ono, he staged a bed-in for peace in a hotel in Amsterdam. He declared that he would maintain his protest until America withdrew from the war in Vietnam. A few years later he got his wish when they did leave that country. Between 1975 and 1980, at least 360,000 people died at the hands of his fellow travellers in that unfortunate land. There is no record of John Lennon making any protest about that. He claimed to be at the forefront of the movement for world peace, but like the hypocrite he was always highly selective about whose genocide he would condemn. John Lennon, shot in 1980. Good riddance to bad rubbish. The world reacted with shock when John Lennon was shot in 1980. World leaders almost fell over themselves to pay tribute to someone considered an apostle of peace. His nauseating anthem, Imagine, topped the bestseller lists for months. Since then, plaques have been laid and statues have been erected to his memory. Every magazine and internet publishing site is overloaded with articles in praise of him. How easily are the people fooled? It was sad when Mark David Chapman shot John Lennon dead in 1980, but only because it was not a fitting end. It would really have been better if he could have been brought alive to Belfast or London or Manchester or Birmingham or anywhere in Vietnam. Then he should have been made to stand with another placard saying, I supported the people who murdered your husband, wife, child, grandmother, grandfather, etc. I did it because I wanted to increase my millions by pretending to promote world peace, while really lending support to the perpetrators of genocide. Leave him there in any of those locations. It would have saved Mr. Chapman a bullet.